Thank you so much for inviting me here, and much has already been said by all the stalwarts in the industry, including Pavanji, Dinesh Pareja ji, and Gulshan ji. So I will not take much time. I'm being given 5 minutes. Let me just talk about a little evolvement, how the data privacy and the protection regime in India has evolved, and maybe give a little brief about that and close the topic. To start with, I think 20 years back, none of us spoke about something called as data privacy. We did talk about closing our doors, that there should be a wall, nobody should enter into our doors without our permission, and so was with the law enforcement that without any warrant you cannot come and search my house. So that understanding we had, but we as Indian citizens never thought about something called as data privacy. More so, we wanted to be available on internet, that people should search and things should be there on internet. But with time, the way data was important and how the usage of data became instrumental in every aspect, be it for good purpose and for the bad purpose, is where countries across globe, including India, realize that there has to be a framework. Now, to take you a little back, right to privacy was never a right considered in Indian constitution. That was in K. Puttaswamy judgment in 2017 that the courts realized that you cannot have a dignified life if you don't have something called as right to privacy, part of your right to life. That's where we got the recognition that, okay, we have something called as right to privacy as one of our fundamental right enshrined in constitution. But with that privacy, how do you enforce it? And in the world where we need data, companies cannot work without data. So then realize that, okay, there has to be a framework for both, framework for a person, like data principle, that what exactly are your rights. At the same time, a framework that talks about for the data fiduciary, for companies who collect the data, that what exactly are the nuances, what is the framework, what are the regulation they have to confine with when you talk about collection of data. That's where, with K. Puttaswamy judgment came the committee, which is Justice B.N. Sri Krishna committee. From that committee came the aspect, okay, let there be a framework. That's where we saw the 2019 bill, the bill which is yet to see the light. With that 2019 bill, the data protection bill, till 2022, we saw numerous amendments and suggestions that bill had gone through, so much so that 100 plus amendments were there. So it was more ideal that that bill be recalled and a new fresh bill with incorporating all those suggestions come in place. That's why 2022 we saw that the new digital data protection bill was introduced, which is yet to be passed, which was open for consultation. Now that bill practically gives you, or is a basis of nothing but those 9 principles of privacy which are recognized globally. So they're talking about collection, limitation, consent, and how in case of accounting, transparency, security, and in case of security breach, what are the rights with the data principle, what are the obligations that will entail for the data fiduciary. That's precisely the data protection bill we have. Now, all of us would talk about that, why so much we talk about data security, and I think Pavanji gave elaborative things about data breaches and how data breaches are happening. Now, how does that affect us and why this is important? I'll take 2 more minutes and wrap it up. So see, with data, let me give you 2 examples of it. Let's say a entity A has data of a city or citizen completely, its users completely, as compared to company B. Company A will have a lot of advantage when it comes to running of its business, what kind of policy it should have in place to have more footfalls for its business. Why so? Example, let's say they know that people in Delhi usually go shopping on Saturday, Sunday. The behavior pattern is this. These are the most buying things. These are the most, these are the times when women come and children come. So the policy or the things around or the kind of discounts you will throw around will be that compared to the other. This is business specific. Now talk about country specific. Country A having data over country B. We saw in Ukraine and Russia how things were going on. So let's say if country A has all your critical data, all your sensitive data, your nuances, things about you, the country B whose data is there becomes very vulnerable when it comes to country A. Now coming to you and me, how data plays an important role with these breaches, why we are talking about breaches nowadays, and why certain issued guidelines that companies have to forcefully report within 6 hours of knowing of any of the cybersecurity incident, is because of the aspect that a lot of data has been collected, and that data plays a very crucial role when it comes to social engineering any cyber crime. Like for example, if you get a call, I think banking calls all of us have got, or if not, any of our near and dear ones must have 100% got it. So whenever you get a call, what happens is, even if you don't want to, you fall prey because they have a lot of information about you. So let's say a person calls you from a bank that so and so offer is there with you, or there's an upgradation or XYZ. You said that, how do I believe you're from my bank? You said your last credit card was 4,03,920 rupees. Your birth date is this, and we are calling from the bank, and bank is offering this because your purchase has been continuously like that. Before bill cycle, your amount was this much. So there would be no way that you would not believe that this information practically is with my bank. So the person calling is from the bank. Now I can believe. How he made you believe? Because he had data. Now that data is breached from the bank because the security was not kept in place. This entire game is where we realize that a security measure has to be kept in mind by the companies when they are collecting the data. It is their responsibility and duty to collect the data. So that's where the entire, I think, the gameplay comes. And I think ChatGPT, metaverse coming in place. We don't have right to privacy. We don't have data protection bill yet, but with digital human coming in, with the kind of things coming, I think it's the high time that we need to have at least some basic framework to start with. And the bill which we are seeing in 2022 is the basic framework which talks about the basic 9 principles. Building on that is where we can grow, but I think it's the crucial stage that we are at, that we need a basic framework when you talk about a user's right and a duty of a data fiduciary, and how things could grow from there. Not just on that aspect, but also with the way India and Indian incorporations are growing. We need some certainty with respect to companies, that what kind of framework they have to, or their product has to have in place, so that if there is some uncertainty, that should not affect them. So for that also, if you need investments, I think overall, in a nutshell, we need a framework as soon as possible. I will close on that. I have a flight to catch. I'm really sorry. Thank you so much.